Hi, Thriller Movies Recap here. Today I'm going to show you an action movie from 2005, relax and enjoy. Spoilers ahead, watch out. For 7 years, Jake Green has been held in solitary confinement. He has two enigmatic inmates, one a con artist and the other a master of chess, serving alone in cells on either side of him. While in seclusion, Jake and the other two communicate via handwritten notes tucked inside of shared temporary books on chess and the ideal scam. Jake learns the components of a successful con, but it is not until much later that he truly appreciates its complexity and importance to him. Jake tells the other two a lot about himself during these conversations. These two men have never met Jake in person. The two inmates decide to free Jake as part of their jail escape strategy. The two flee the following day, leaving Jake behind. He feels defrauded. Jake stays behind bars as the two prisoners who have escaped steal the entire amount of money he had stashed away on the outside. They trusted Jake with the formula, and he trusted them with the whereabouts of a significant amount of his money. They remove the cash and leave a card with the following statement in its place: "You can only become smarter by playing a smarter opponent, according to the first rule of any game." When Jake is released from prison, broke and without money, he begins to put into practice everything he has learned about the formula and the scam during his time spent in solitary. He appears to have learned a vital lesson from the two crooks inside, since it is quite successful and he does well in the gambling industry. When Jake has recovered financially, he confronts his adversary, the ambitious Dorothy Matcha. When Jake and his brothers enter Matcha's casino, they are immediately called before Matcha to participate in a game of chance. They must ride an elevator up 22 levels to get to Matcha's game, and it is revealed that Jake has severe claustrophobia as a result of spending so many years in solitary. He must fight off an anxiety episode in order to ride the elevator. Jake humiliates Matcha by defeating him in a game of chance at the game. Matcha wants vengeance and has Jake assassinated because she fears more of the same. Jake and his brothers are leaving the casino when a strange man approaches them and offers to help. He also gives Jake a letter that says to take the elevator. Jake decides to take the stairs since he can't bear the return trip, but he unexpectedly passes out, falls down the steps, and needs to be taken to the hospital. He is quite ill, according to the physicians, who do not, however, say why he had the blackout. Matcha gives the go-ahead for a hit on Jake and asks Assassin Sorter to handle things. Without Billy, Jake arrives home to one of Matcha's hits as a welcome. Only Jake makes it out alive after being saved by the enigmatic Zach. Sorter is perplexed by Jake's escape and survival and is unaccustomed to his kills failing. The otherwise emotionless murderer begins a silent, intense process of self-questioning. Zach brings Jake to his equally enigmatic partner Avi, who shows him the results of his hospital tests and tells him he has 3 days to live and is in critical physical condition due to an inside ailment. He assures Jake that he may be rescued from Matcha and his physical ailment with the help of his companion. Matcha is simultaneously attempting to do business with Sam Gold, who is infamous but ostensibly invisible. He strikes a bargain with Lily Walker, his female emissary who stands in for the queen on the chessboard. Matcha is cautioned that Sam Gold will be extremely upset if he doesn't follow through on the agreement. Matcha sees no issue because he is just interested in the benefits of doing business with Gold, who stands in for the opposition. The trade is for some white powder, which stands for vice in all its forms, or, to put it another way, deceptive strategies for beating the game or escaping Gold's fury that, paradoxically, only serve to draw you closer to him. Since Jake only has 3 days to live, he agrees to do whatever the two enigmatic figures tell him to do. There is no time for negotiation, so Jake is ready to follow their instructions. To Jake's dismay, Avi and Zach pretend to be loan sharks and progressively pressure him to give up all the money he gained through the con. Since Jake only has 3 days to live, he agrees to do whatever the two enigmatic figures tell him to do. The fact that Avi and Zach are making him perform things he despises seems to be murdering a part of him. As a result of being dragged into elevators repeatedly, Jake experiences a physical and mental ordeal. Additionally, they disrupt Matcha's agreement with Gold, placing Matcha in danger with Gold and forcing Matcha to obtain the powder from Lord John, a rival crime lord. They disrupt the agreement with Lord John to make it seem like each gang committed the treason, which makes the situation worse. Due to their stupidity and avarice, these two gangs start to annihilate one another. The turning point in Jake's adventure occurs when his new employers, Avi and Zach, order him to kill a man who owes them money. In defiance of the voice in his head, Jake refuses. At this crucial moment, Jake snaps. As a result, he felt as though a part of him was dying. This game appears to be played backwards. In order to give Dorothy Matcha credit, Jake donates the last of his money to a charity. At this moment, we realize that the voice we hear in the movie as a voiceover is actually the Sam Gold who lives within each character's head, not the voiceover we hear in the movie. The voice in Matcha's brain that tells him to claim the credit is making him fatter. Now that Jake is aware of the game he is playing, he goes to Matcha and begs for forgiveness at the foot of his bed. The voice inside Jake's head, which is currently in excruciating pain, disagrees with this utterly. Jake leaves Matcha's bedroom in a blocked elevator, his worst nightmare because he has claustrophobia, but this is where the actual combat takes place. Sam Gold hides behind the agony that Jake causes. Sam Gold employs all available means to subdue and weaken Jake, but he is now detachable enough from the voice for Jake to fall for it. By saying, "Embrace the pain and you will win this game," Jake entirely leaves his Sam Gold persona. The elevator then immediately begins to run. Despite being freed from the physical jail he had been living in for 7 years, he comes to the realization that he was still imprisoned, in his own head. He is deeply liberated after confronting and overcoming his anxiety. A puzzled and irate Matcha holding a gun is standing there when the elevator doors open. Jake no longer cares about Matcha, and he is unable to comprehend the game he is playing. Jake walks straight by Matcha, gun or no gun. Matcha sobs because Jake is no longer afraid of him. His ego is unable to bear this, and he succumbs to the voice of his own Sam Gold that he hears in his head. Matcha suffers from the awareness that Sam Gold is going to come and grab him despite not knowing who Sam Gold actually is or where he lives. He is unaware that Sam Gold is already capturing him, and it's happening from within. In Matcha's honor, Jake makes a sizable donation to a charity, further subduing his inner Sam Gold while enhancing the Sam Gold inside, who gleefully accepts the praise and attention from the public. Following this gesture, Matcha is initially kind to Jake. However, after finding that Jake had planned the sabotage on the powder deals, Matcha orders Jake's death with increased vigor. Jake's brother and niece are discovered at his home by Matcha's men. The previously unresponsive sorter completes his internal reflection and intervenes as Matcha's goons are torturing Jake's brother and endangering his young daughter. However, the previously unresponsive sorter is ultimately outgunned by the final survivor of the gang, who takes Jake's niece back to Matcha. Jake and Avi complete a game of chess in Matcha's casino after Jake realizes that the enigmatic personalities Avi and Zach are not who he initially believed them to be. It is now clear that Avi had the ability to defeat him at any point. Avi explains to him one of the rules once more. The trick is to feed the victim pieces so they believe they took them because they are smarter than you are. Jake is aware that these two people are his former roommates from solitary confinement, with whom he shared a cell for 7 years. They made good on their promise to free him from jail, and they did, but Jake was unaware that the prison was the one inside his mind, and he had no idea how big that prison was. Avi and Zach openly admit that they didn't hate him because they liked him, rather, they did so because they're him. They are reflections of his higher nature. Jake confronts Matcha about his niece being held hostage. The Sam Gold inside of Matcha is shouting with wrath, pride, and terror, while Matcha himself is overcome with uncertainty and panic. At its core, the tale is about coming to terms with the fact that the prison is the mind and that the ego is its unseen ruler. Fear is the only truly formidable foe that has ever existed. An individual's fear greatly influences the outside world. In life, fear is your adversary, and he becomes more intelligent as you do. If this condition isn't identified, you are merely an unwitting slave and the game hasn't completed a full circle. Jake continues to be fearless of Matcha, which continues to frighten him. The Sam Gold inside of Matcha, his ego, whispers, "You can't kill someone who's already dead." Matcha is afraid Sam Gold is going to kill him for messing up the delivery of the powder, which has cost him his life. Ultimately, Matcha chooses suicide over killing J-Core's niece out of pride and fear. Sam Gold triumphs. At its core, the tale is about coming to terms with the fact that the prison is the mind and that the ego is its unseen ruler. Fear is the only truly formidable foe that has ever existed. An individual's fear greatly influences the outside world. In life, fear is your adversary, and he becomes more intelligent as you do. If this condition isn't identified, you are merely an unwitting slave and the game hasn't completed a full circle. However, once it is understood for what it is, it may be conquered. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.